Travis Winggood. So when critics and disbelieving terrorists send me comments, I'm able to do more videos, just because of the topics that they raise concerning the theme of the channel. And yesterday, for the few of you that watched, you know that bumped into my ex yesterday. And so she has been an inspiration for many of my videos in the past, as she's having difficulty comprehending what I'm talking about because of the traditional indoctrination that the church gives us. And I can recall even myself as a youngster taking a sentence from Scripture and trying to understand what it meant, utilizing my English grammar. And now, as I look back, I realize that my key to figuring it all out was an overall understanding of the big picture of Scripture. And thus, the individual sentences and passages, when put into the context of the whole, now made sense, as I struggled to comprehend certain passages that are common among Mormons and ex-Mormons to understand the meaning and interpretation of. And of course, the prophets won't give us any answers. They refer us to our stake president for excommunication. How dare you ask a question? And so they tell us to trust in the prophets to have all the answers, and yet they won't give any answers. Nonetheless, that's not what we're talking about here. And so I had Karen go over Joseph Smith history, verse 19. And she was resistant. She didn't want to read it. It was a trap. Get her to go contrary to her beliefs. It's Scripture, canonized. Even though the Joseph Smith papers are the authoritative source for Mormonism now, that was too hard for her. She could not grasp that, even though it said it right there on the homepage. Oh, I'm not looking that up. And so I'm going to read it to you. I was answered that I must join none of them. So let's see, it was Presbyterian, which was the pastor priest who officiated at Alvin's funeral. The Methodist, which was Emma's family's religion. The Baptist, which was Sidney Rigdon's Baptist Campbellite religion. Was there any others, or was it just those three? Should we waste time going back trying to find the list of religions? Baptists, Methodists, Presbyterians, yeah, just the three. And so that means, therefore, that Catholics are true, Seventh-day Adventists are true, because they're not listed here. Joseph Smith didn't list them. It only says, I was answered that I must join none of the Baptists, Methodists, and Presbyterians. So, Catholics are true. Why do we need the Mormon Church? We don't need to join it, right? Yeah, it's all of Christianity. For they were all wrong. And the personage, she tried to make it an issue out of this. Oh, just because it says personage doesn't mean it's not Jesus. But put Jesus in here. I've been doing the videos with Jesus in here. I've been doing the thumbnails with Jesus in here. And so Jesus addressed me. He said that all their creeds were an abomination in his sight. And so, guess what you got to do now if you don't know what a creed is? If you don't know what the first creed of all Christendom is? Well, there's this thing called Google search. It's a miracle. And you all use it, you just won't use it for this. I'm afraid I might lose my testimony. Well, if you lose your testimony, you never had one. And so you type in first, oh, it's still in there in the first creed of Christianity. And there it is in the beginning thing. It has it all segregated out. Creed, Wikipedia with a paragraph up above, and a little picture of some bishops with Constantine in the middle holding up the first creed of Christianity at the Council of Nicaea. Jesus is Lord. Do you not get it, Mormons? I mean, yeah, I didn't have Google search growing up. I had to go to the University of Lethbridge in Alberta, Canada with the first wife to figure what the first creed of Christianity was. And there's a textbook that we had, which was a 2-volume textbook for my Christianity class, which is an excellent book. Gonzalez, I think, was the last name of it. But yeah, it was my first introduction to the first creed of Christianity from the Nicene Council. But now there is no excuse for anybody in this world, in this church, at all. All Christians can know now that Constantine created Jesus as Lord, the Christ. And so let's redo this passage with that understanding of the first creed. And Jesus. And Jesus, who addressed me, said that Jesus as Lord is an abomination in his sight. How complicated is this? This isn't something to get mad at me about. I didn't do this. I'm not the one who created it. I'm not lying to you. You can do it for yourself. You're supposed to do it for yourself. The prophets tell you to study the scriptures. You're supposed to study the scriptures. You're supposed to know what a creed is. You're supposed to know what the first creed of Christianity is. The church prophets are playing you as chumps, knowing you will not do what I just did for you. Because Nelson keeps pushing Jesus. Jesus. And I just read it to you. Jesus as the Christ is an abomination for Joseph Smith. So now when you go to the Book of Mormon and you read 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2, you now understand what it means. Yea, I make a record, the Book of Mormon, in the language of my father, which consists of the learning of the Jews and the language of the Egyptians. The name of our Christ is Emmanuel. He is the sun god of Egypt, Amen-El. This is not complicated. There should be no contention against me for my videos. I'm the one trying to enlighten you and warn you of the dangers of the church. Because if Jesus is the abominable Christ, which church does the abominable Christ reside? The great and abominable church. This is not complicated. Once you know what the first creed of Christianity is, everything falls into place. You now know that Brigham Young is the Antichrist. You know Nelson is the Antichrist. I told you this. All of you critics were upset with Nelson. Oh, lazy learners. And I did the video. He declared himself the Antichrist. When Nelson comes up with the new logo for the church, the idol god Jesus, I'm warning you, he just set up an idol for Mormons. And you guys just go, Jesus is and look at me. The church destroyed me because I exposed all this. Which I was able to have fun with Karen last night about that. Why don't you just come over to my place and we'll wash your clothes? So you want me to come over to your place, take off my clothes in your apartment, and then give them to you so that you can do my laundry. Good times. But I mean, this is not complicated, guys. This isn't complicated. And so now let's go over the passage I keep repeating for you because you do not understand any of this. You won't. I'm scared. I don't want to learn the truth. Yeah, we all go on missions and lie. We're Christian. That's what Brigham Young did. Brigham Young sabotaged Joseph's church on purpose so that Joseph Smith then was forced to write the Joseph Smith history. All of the European converts believed the name was the full name that we have today. And so here in verse 16 of section 103, therefore I will raise up unto my people, the Mormons, a man who shall lead them like as Moses led the children of Israel. That's the Jewish Christ. And in Deuteronomy, he talks about a future man like Moses. Joseph Smith is doing it here now. And he says, for ye are the children of Israel and the seed of Abraham, and ye must be led out of bondage. Mormons must be led out of bondage. By who? This is not complicated, and yet it becomes the most complicated. But this is deep doctrine.